Right into this video, this lesson. Check it out, see everything's good. Okay. Alright. Let's give it all praise and glory to Yahweh. By Shema Rashah, double honor to the apostle, brother Elder Great Millstone. Shalom to the host elect. So you see the title. Take heed the time. Take heed the time to seek the Lord. Hope I got that right. Sorry. Take heed of the time to seek the Lord. All right. You're going to see why I say
that. This is a giant eyesore.
All you have to do is point.
Nice!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK and we'll be at your house within 90 minutes.
We come at your convenience.
Statement this week as tensions continue to fester between the U.S. and Russia, saying, quote, in the event of a third world war, there will be no winners, including America. Now, this comes as Russia escalates their military offensive in Ukraine. The president of Belarus, meanwhile, has confirmed that his country received tactical nuclear weapons from Russia. So how concerned should we be, especially as Putin reportedly tells the West to go to hell at the same time? Joining us now with reaction is former U.S. Defense Intelligence Officer and author of Putin's Playbook, Rebecca Koffler. Rebecca, great to see you this morning.
Great to see you all.
What do you make of this, not just saber rattling, but almost taking the saber out of its sheath in terms of Vladimir Putin sending nuclear weapons to Belarus?
Yes, this is a very concerning development. It's strategic messaging by Putin to Washington to back out of Ukraine, to stop arming Ukraine. It is driven by fear of losing this war that he cannot afford, because the outcome of this war is existential for him. Russia considers Ukraine as part of its strategic security perimeter, and it cannot allow NATO to get as close. Just like we wouldn't allow China or Russia or Iran to get as close to Mexico or Canada. So that is why Putin is overreacting.
So, Rebecca, that's incredibly, honestly terrifying. You know, for Vladimir Putin to consider what's happening in Ukraine an existential threat, and for him to begin to talk about the use of nuclear weapons, and to extend your analogy of what if Russia were doing something in Mexico or Cuba. What is the off-ramp? We can put on screen, by the way, the number of nuclear weapons at any hand for given countries. Russia's got the most.
At the top.
Yeah, so what's the off-ramp for him facing an existential threat?
So right now, no one is even talking about off-ramp. Well, in fact, it's quite the opposite. In May, a senior NATO official, Rob Bauer, announced that NATO has switched the alliance to wartime footing. What does it mean? NATO countries are combing through thousands of classified documents, war plans, and looking for guidance on how to beef up their own defenses and how to actually fight the war with Russia. And this is why Putin is overreacting. Putin has always thought, and the Kremlin did, and the general staff, that we are seeking regime change in Russia. Everyone hates Putin. He's an unlikable guy. And that is why he has prepared this terrifying doctrine. He and the general staff, this is similar to our Joint Chiefs, right? They are looking for vulnerabilities in U.S. Communication networks, in U.S. critical infrastructure, in U.S. satellites. And this is why you see these cyber espionage, cyber attack, including on our Department of Energy, that manages our nuclear infrastructure and sets our nuclear policy.
Yeah. That reflects something we saw this week, by the way. Several U.S. federal agencies, as you mentioned, hit by a global cyber attack carried out by Russian-linked groups. But let's finish this conversation with the larger question, which I find unavoidable throughout this conversation, which is, okay, we got a man who considers this entire relationship, this entire war, this entire interaction existential.
Correct.
And if at the end of this story, it's the end of Putin, then he will no doubt use nuclear weapons to remain in existence, to remain in power, to remain alive. The U.S. has to find a way for that not to be the case, because nuclear war cost, as he points out, is a no-win situation even for America.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing to clarify to Americans is that Russia is not targeting U.S. homeland with nuclear weapons, right? The doctrine was developed for Putin to authorize a nuclear strike on the battlefield in Ukraine. The problem is with this thinking is this: as wargaming shows, and as you said, I'm a former DIA intelligence officer, and we conducted dozens of war games simulating a U.S.-Russia conflict, right? And so once the first tactical, even if it's tactical, nuke gets popped on the battlefield, everybody is going to overreact, because all of these states that own nuclear weapons have missile warning systems tracking that stuff.
Yeah, and then the dominoes begin to fall.
Exactly. You just nailed it. Spins out of control. Every war game has shown
It's hard not
this.
to feel like the dominoes have already begun to fall, Rebecca.
Exactly, and we need to pay attention, and President Biden needs to sit down and negotiate. And instead, what happened 2 years ago, he handed to Putin a list of 16 critical infrastructure targets. You can't make this up. This was such a foolish move, and the Russians developed a strategic operation to defeat critical infrastructure of the adversary targeting U.S. homeland, because they believe if they can't use nukes, they can use cyber against the U.S. They consider it a non-nuclear without nuclear mushroom.
Important and ominous conversation this morning. Rebecca Koffler, thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And clip.
We say discern the signs every time. Okay, let's go get a couple scriptures here. Maybe it. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter. No, let's go to Proverbs 21, verse 1. It says, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah. As the river of water, he turneth it whatsoever his will." Right, whatsoever his will. Again, Proverbs 21, verse 1. "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the river of water, he turneth it whatsoever his will." Right, whatsoever his will. Ezekiel 7, verse 14. "They have blown a trumpet even to make all ready, but none go to the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitudes thereof." Right, we have blown a trumpet. Ezekiel 7, verse 24. "Destruction coming, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none." Right, they're gonna seek peace, and there shall be none. Verse 26. "Mistress shall come upon mistress, and rumor shall be upon rumor. They shall seek a vision of the prophet. But the law shall perish from the priest, and the counsel from the ancient." Verse 27. "The king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with desolate, and the hand of the people of the land shall be troubled. And I will do unto them as their ways, and according to thy desert, and I will judge thee, and they should know that I am the Lord." I am the Lord, right? The Lord. Joel chapter 1, verse 15. "Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, as destruction from the Almighty shall it come." Right, as destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Joel chapter 1, verse 15. "Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as destruction from the Almighty shall it come." Right, shall it come. Destruction from the Almighty. Joel chapter 2. Let's go to Joel 2, verse 1. "Blow the trumpet in Zion, and sound alarm in my holy mountain. Let all that have of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord come forth is not at hand." Right, it's not at hand. Joel 2, verse 10. "The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble. The sun, the moon shall be darkness, and the stars shall draw thy shine. The Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong to execute his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it?" Right, who can abide it? Amos 5, verse 18. "Who can abide it? It say, Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what ends for you? The day of the Lord is darkness. The day of the Lord is darkness and not light." Right, the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Okay. Zephaniah 2, verse 3. He said, gather yourself together, yet gather together, O nation of desire, before the green break forth, to take pass as a chaff before the free of delay, for the free anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord anger come upon you. Seek ye the Lord, all the meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment, seek righteousness, seek meekness, and maybe you should be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Right? It may be you should be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Okay. Okay, we're doing that. Right, maybe you should be hid in the day of the Lord. Okay, let's go to Ezekiel 23, verse 1. Forgot about that. Ezekiel 33, verse 1. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me. Say, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if thy people of the land take a man of thy coast, and set him for thy watchman, when you see the sword come upon the land, and blow the trumpet, and warn the peoples, right, and warn the peoples, then whosoever hear the sound of the trumpet, and take not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood should be upon his own head. He hear the sound of the trumpet, and take not warning, his blood should be upon him. But he that take warning should deliver his soul. Right? He that take warning should deliver his soul. Read again, Ezekiel 33, verse 5. He that hear the sound of the trumpet, and take not warning, his blood should be upon him. But he that take warning should deliver his soul. Right? Should deliver his soul. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Do I got time on that? It's going to be on point on time. Yes, I do. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. But at the time and season, brother, I had no need that I write unto you. For yourself known perfect, the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night. They should say peace and safety, then so that destruction come upon them, tread upon the woman with child, and they should not escape. Right? They should not escape. But you, brother, you are not in darkness, that they should overtake you as a thief. Right? Should overtake you as a thief. You are children of light and children of the day. We are not of night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Right? Let us watch and be sober. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 5. First Peter 3, verse 5. First Peter 3, verse. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some man count slack, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. Right there, all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, which the heaven should pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Right? Shall be burned up. Shall be burned up. Right? Shall be burned up. Is it one more scripture? Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. Close out scripture. Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. It said, blessed he that read it, and they hear the word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein. For the time is at hand, right? For the time is at hand. Revelation chapter 1, verse 3, he said, blessed he that readeth, and that they hear, blessed he that readeth, and that hear the word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein. For the time is at hand, right? At hand. So you see, the time is at hand. I'm going to close it out. I just want to get that out. Shalom, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Shema Shah, Dawan to the Apostle Brother, Elder Wade Millstone. Shalom to the Hope of Black.